Hi, my name is Reeve Conover from Conover Consulting, and this is Beyond the Spreadsheet. We typically make decisions in our businesses based on spreadsheets, especially with employee benefits. But the spreadsheet will only tell you part of the story. With 401ks, like medical plans, you need someone on your side. These are complex programs with many regulations that often plan trustees are just not aware of. But the DOL will be happy to tell you that that's no excuse. The intent of this video is not to teach you what you need to know. It's to make you consciously aware that, as a trustee, you have a lot of responsibilities. I'm an accredited investment fiduciary. What's that? It's a special training and certification for 401k programs in this country. It requires an initial training program, a certification exam, and then annual continuing education. Now, according to FINRA, there are 617,549 registered reps in the U.S. in 2020. That's an average of 12,350 per state. In my home state of South Carolina, there are only 94 of us, the accredited investment fiduciaries. So that's less than 1% of all the investment advisors that have the certification for 401k plans. Now, a big part of my responsibility as an AIF is making sure that all of this stuff happens. This is a chart that we've made that shows you everything that has to happen in your 401k. And no, you're not going to have time to read it all. But the colors kind of give you an idea. If you're hiring the right people, your TPA record keeper is going to do all the stuff in blue. The accredited investment fiduciary and investment advisor are going to do the yellow. The green gets shared between the two of them. And if you're doing this properly, you're getting everything done and you're protecting yourself. And the only thing you're really responsible for are making sure that you get the committee minutes in and that you supervise all of the vendors. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more down the line. These are things that have to be done in your plan, and you should be aware of that. So the first thing that you really need to understand is that as a plan fiduciary, the trustee, number one, you can never get out from underneath that responsibility no matter who you contracted to. So you have to keep an eye on everybody. But you have to make sure that all the decisions in your plan are made in the best interests of the plan participants and their beneficiaries. It can't be in the best interest of the company or the owners or the investment advisor. All decisions must be in the best interest of the plan participants and their beneficiaries. Now, this on the left is the periodic table of all of the things that investment stewards like you are supposed to do. I'm going to break it down on 4 pages so you can see it a little bit better. And so here on the right side, we have the organized section, the first section. And here the most common mistakes are the trustee doesn't know their responsibilities and fees. A DOL auditor walks into your office, you introduce yourself, and he says, okay, how do your fees benchmark against everybody else? And you shrug your shoulders and go, I don't know. That's not going to be a fun audit. You're responsible to know these things. Number 2, the plan doesn't match the investment policy statement. Understand that the investment policy statement, or the IPS, is the Bible for your plan. It is the document that must be followed. And it can be amended periodically, and it should be, but not having things line up with the IPS is a failure. And the 6th one, practice, is strange. This is not having sufficient fiduciary bond coverage. And I'm not quite sure why I see this as often as I do. I just think it's that people don't understand. You have to have 10% of the assets in your plan covered by a fiduciary bond. That protects the participants, and it's super cheap. Here in section 2, we don't usually run into problems unless nobody's paying attention to the plan at all. This is the section where most of the investment advice comes into play. And since most plans have an investment advisor, this part is at least getting taken care of. Just keep in mind that investment advice just simply isn't enough. In the implementation section, Really, this comes down to documentation. Feed the file. The DOL comes in and does an audit. They're going to be searching through your documents and files to make sure that you have documented that you have done everything that you say you need to do. I run into plans where the investment advisor does a quarterly review, and then they ask the investment advisor, and he says, yeah, don't worry about it, you're in compliance. But they've not recorded that they've done that. They don't have any documentation of it, and they're not in line with the requirements on investment committees. So just because somebody tells you you're fine doesn't mean that you are, and this is a big thing. Documentation is what they're looking for. Now, in the monitor section, most plans are in compliance with at least the quarterly monitoring and reporting. What a lot of plans don't do is annual fee benchmarking. We don't see a lot of target date funds being audited. We don't see an annual plan audit. These are required. You are also strongly recommended by ERISA to shop all of your vendors every 3 years. So if your nephew Chuck has been running the plan for 8 years and you've never reviewed his services and his fees against other companies out there, technically you're in non-compliance. So there are some things that you probably really need to be looking at. When I meet somebody who says, oh yeah, my investment advisor says we're in compliance, the questions that I ask are related to this screen. Can you show me the bylaws for your investment committee? Can you show me your quarterly minutes? Can you show me that you've shopped your plan and all the advisors in it in the last 3 years? These are things that are required to be done. So if you're not doing those and you can't answer those questions, then maybe we should talk just a little bit. And while this isn't a closing thought, I wanted everyone to be aware that plan rules changed last year, and that starting in this year, part-timers are technically becoming eligible for your 401k plan. Now, they have to be part-time, work that way for 3 years, and be age 21, 3 consecutive years, before they're eligible, so we won't really see any impact on plans until 2024. But as closing thoughts, investment advice just is not enough. You need someone on your side. You need to make sure that all of this work is getting done. And if you don't have that person, I would strongly recommend that you give us a call. We would be happy to help you. Again, my name is Reeve Conover, Conover Consulting. I've been in this business since 1986, and I would love to have a chat with you.